Hello and welcome to a new video. In today's video, I'm just quickly gonna review this bass. It's a Harley Benton kit bass and I recently put it together. Maybe you saw the stop motion video. If you did, let me know in the comments below what you thought about it. And so maybe after watching that video, you wanted to know what I actually think about the kit. And so I was thinking I'd just quickly go through it and let you know what I think. Here's the bass. Now I wasn't actually supposed to build this bass and I wasn't actually supposed to do anything with it, and the thing was there was a lot of issues, and not all of the issues had to do with the bass. There were other things as well. I'm not going to go super much into details about the things that aren't relevant to the kit itself, but there were some problems with the kit, and so in the end I had sort of to build it, and it was a very different experience, this kit, than the two other kits. If you remember, I made a Stratocaster and I made a Telecaster kit not too long ago. I unboxed those two guitars and filmed a sort of unboxing slash review thing, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, here I have the bass, and I didn't film that because it wasn't mine. It wasn't supposed to be on the channel, but now that I'm the one building it, I feel like I can, show some of it. And the first issue that I came across was the sanding sealer on the body was very unevenly put down, and the person who was supposed to paint the guitar couldn't really see that until after they had painted the guitar. It's one of those things that you learn to look for when you build a couple of guitars or basses or something, and you sort of getting used to what it's supposed to look like. But if you buy a kit and you trying something out for the first time, which was the case with this, then you're probably not looking for that. And then when you look at the guitar paint after it's dried, you're going to ask yourself, what did I do wrong? Why does it look the way it does? And it did look really bad. And we had to sand everything back and redo it. And it just sort of is one of those parts where it sort of defeats the purpose. Because if you're a professional guitar builder and you have built, let's say, 100 guitars and sold them and things like that, you're not gonna buy this kit guitar. But if you just, want to have a fun weekend building a cool instrument for yourself and being creative and have fun, then you might actually buy this kit, and that's what it's for. And so I feel like the kit should, be for those people. Now, it's not that big of a deal to me to have to sand the guitar, but I feel like it kind of a discouragement for anyone who's feeling that they might, end up with something that, isn't the way they want it to be. Now, if you have one of these kits and you've painted it and you think it looks horrible and you're watching this video, hoping that maybe I'll tell you something about it, I will say that you need to sand it back and you need to fill the grain. And you just have to be really careful with filling the grains. And it's just one of those quality things that I've noticed is a little bit different on every kit you get. You don't have a standard for how the kits are. Some of them are going to be really good and some of them are going to be really bad. Some of them are going to have absolutely no issues with the sanding sealer, and some of them will have a lot of problems. I had some tiny imperfections here and there on the Strat. I had a lot of issues with the Telecaster, and this is even worse than the Telecaster. If you look closely at the body, you can see actually where it happened, because we had some issues with the sanding as well. But that was more my fault and me not doing things the right way the first time around, because I thought maybe I could save the paint job, which you never can. You're just supposed to sand everything back and redo it. Sometimes you get the idea that maybe you can save some time and energy, and you can't. The next thing I want to point to is the screws. In both the Telecaster and Stratocaster kit, I got all the screws I needed, plus a few extra screws. Like, you get 5 screws to put down the bridge, but you get 6 screws. The pickguard needs 12 screws, but you get 13. Just some more screws. And in this kit, I did get a couple of screws extra here and there, but I also didn't get some screws. For example, I didn't get screws for the bridge, and I didn't get screws for the neck plate. They were just not in the kit. It's also one of the reasons why all of a sudden the kit came back to me and was like, hey, I don't know how to put this together. There are no screws. And it's one of those things that I just feel is naturally going to happen to these kits. And just because this happened to this kit doesn't mean it's going to happen to your kit. It didn't happen to me 2 out of 3 times. But I also feel like maybe, there is a little bit loose on the let's make sure everything is in there, because they know that you're gonna replace stuff. But if you're a beginner, you're trying this like hobby out of building guitars, then I think that maybe it's a good idea that everything is included that is supposed to be included. You are paying for an entire bass that is supposed to, you know, be able to be playable. And if the plates holding the neck together aren't in the kit, then it's not playable, because you will never be able to attach the neck, or not until you go and buy new screws. Now, I could have probably contacted Toman and talked to them and, you know, worked something out, like sending me screws. I didn't, because I have a bunch of extra screws from different guitars and different basses lying around. But if I didn't have that, I would most likely contact them. So, you know, I'm not saying that it's a big issue, because it wasn't even big enough an issue for me to contact them. But I feel like they most likely would have helped me. I might be wrong. Okay, so the biggest issue I had, and this is actually why I decided to make this video, because I felt like, you know, things are so much different from this bass than it were from the other two kits, that it's actually worth mentioning and, you know, talking a little bit about these things. And the next thing is the neck. Now, the neck itself is a really nice neck. I feel like most of you would probably be satisfied with the neck. Maybe some of you would want to sand it back or lacquer it, but that's more of a preference thing. There's nothing wrong with the neck. It's a nice neck. The thing is, the neck pocket and the string alignment is not correct. And I will probably at some point have to reroute the neck pocket. I'm not sure if I'm actually going to do it, but if this was my bass, I probably would. Here is the neck, and I don't know if you can see it, but the neck is a little bit off. It's not that bad. You can definitely pay the bass. The strings won't fall off the side, and it doesn't come across as well on the camera as it does in real life. But let's just measure it super quickly and see what we have here. So at the 12th fret, we have a string edge of 8 millimeters on the bass side and 4 mils on the treb side. So the strings are actually twice the distance from the edge on the bass side. And at first glance, it's not something you think about. I feel like it's something that you're gonna notice when you actually go to play it. Or at least if you start playing really more intense and more, you know, hard to play things. Not everyone who built these kits is a beginner player. They might be a beginner builder, but they're probably not a beginner, you know, player. And so you might be disappointed. And the way I would solve it, I'm going to show you real quickly, just because maybe someone is looking at this video hoping that that's a thing that they will solve. But quickly, I just want to say I didn't have that issue with the Telecaster or Stratocaster kit. Yeah, so what you would have to do is basically you would have to shave off a bit of the wood here with a file or a router or something. So basically moving this line from being this way to coming out a bit like this. So keeping the line in the neck pocket at the end the same and moving out. Now obviously not this much as I'm showing you right here now, but because that's just trying to make it a little bit easier to see what I mean, you would have to measure it out how much you need to take out, or go back and forth and remove a tiny bit of the neck pocket and come back and remove a tiny bit more until the neck fitted the way it was supposed to. If we look at this neck pocket here, for example, which is not a very good neck pocket, this is just the test body that I use in some of my videos. It's basically this line right here. You keep it the same here so that the neck is still in the right place, and then you just take a little bit off right here in this area here. Shift it a little bit. I don't know, I hope this helps. Other than that, I don't really feel that there is any real issues. Obviously, it's the same thing with like the bridge and the tuners that I felt the first time around. They're not that great, and if you want to build something that is a little bit more high quality, then you're probably gonna have to switch them out. But it's not necessarily the first thing you have to do. I would actually even more, in this case, want to switch out the pickups first, because they are definitely something that is wrong with this bass. I feel like they're really weak. Maybe I got faulty pickups or something like that. Again, we're most likely going to switch these out at some point, not too distant future. So it maybe doesn't really matter, but there's something weird with them because they're really weak, I think. I haven't measured them, so I don't know exactly, but that is something else that I find issue with, at least, so I'm telling you about it so you know. I realized that most people who buy these kits are most likely switching up the pickups anyway. Yeah, well, here's the base. I hope this was helpful. My final thoughts are that it's a kit that is worth it, but just like with all the Harley Benton products, you might get one that is good, you might get one that is bad, and it's a little bit of like shooting in the dark or something like that when it comes to Harley Benton. Still, I think that if you're gonna switch all the things out anyway, you really shouldn't be bothered about what I say about these parts, except for the neck pocket. But if you're comfortable with reshaping it, that's, you know, not a real issue. If you're not, if you send it back to Harley Benton, they will most likely send you a new one. So I doubt that there is any real issues. Have fun and be creative. Go for it. And you're probably gonna have an awesome time putting one of these kits together. They are a lot of fun. There are some issues with them, and there are some steps you have to overcome, but there are videos on them. I have done 2 build series, so you can watch them, and maybe whatever issue you have is in those videos and I'm solving them, and you can follow along. You can also write comments on this video letting me know what kind of issues you are having, and if you need my help, I'll do my best to give you some sort of support. And build an awesome base and have fun, and I think it's a good kit. All in all, there are some issues with it, but it doesn't mean that you can't build something awesome. I still think, like I did in the other one, that they should have the option to buy the neck and the body as a kit without the other parts, because I feel like there is no point in selling me a more expensive kit than it needs to be if I'm not even going to use those parts, because I know there are some people that will order the kit and order the parts they want to put on the kit at the same time, and then you might as well not even get the cheaper alternative parts that comes with the kit, because they will never be put on the kit to begin with. And so I feel like it would be nice if they had an option to maybe save a little bit of money on the hardware and pickups if you know that you're not going to use them. I think it's a good thing that they are a part of the kits, because I know that there are some people out there who's not comfortable with picking out the bridge and tuners and things like that themselves, because they don't really know what good tuners are or what a good, you know, bridge is. And that's something that you learn by experience different kinds of bridges, and it comes with experience. And if you don't have the experience, it's a great thing that the kit comes with the parts. Anyway, I hope this video helped. Let me know in the comments below if it did. If you have any questions about it, talk to me in the comments below. If you're new here, I would very much appreciate if you click the subscribe button. It helps me out a lot. Also press the like button so that I know that the video is appreciated. Until next time, stay awesome and cool. And even if you don't play bass, go and play some bass, because bass is actually more fun than you might actually think it is.